Hello, everyone, and welcome back again. It is Monday, September 2nd. It is Labor Day. Happy Labor Day here in the US. And you are currently watching the Skill Building Monday Drawing Group. I am your host, Jason Leeser, and I will be hosting today's session with you. If this was working for you, please let us know in the comments and in the chats, and please tag a friend who loves tattoos. Maybe it's someone looking to get their first tattoo. Maybe it's someone that's a tattoo enthusiast. Maybe it's someone who's trying to become a tattoo artist. Maybe it's someone that is a tattoo artist already and they're just trying to get better. Tag everyone you know that loves tattoos. We're always trying to help get the word out. We've gotten a lot of great feedback about these shows, and we're just trying to pass that word along. And welcome to Guy Aitchison's Reinventing the Tattoo Community, where tattooers, apprentices, collectors, and the curious are encouraged to join in these live streams, real world events to share and inspire and ultimately create better art and tattoos together. We beam out nearly every day, and with your help, have evolved into a quality network of amazing live and on demand tattoo and art shows that have all been receiving rave reviews. You can find Reinventing the Tattoo at www.reinventingthetattoo.com. And you can try it out for free. There's no obligation to get a subscription right away. We do offer three different options for you to try it out. The first option is to take a sample webinar from the Reinventing the Tattoo Canon. Kind of gives you a little behind the scenes peek at what it's like to have a full Reinventing the Tattoo Canon subscription. The other option is to take advice from Guy Aitchison about your unique goals, which can be really helpful if you feel like you're kind of stuck in a rut and you don't really know what direction to move on. If you know that there's something you need to be improving, but you're not quite sure what it is, it can be a great way for you to go through and get a little bit of insight onto what you could possibly be working on. The final option to go through and try out Reinventing the Tattoo is to take a comprehensive tattoo history course from Jay Brown. For fellow tattoo history nerds such as myself, I can't recommend this course enough. It's absolutely enlightening and really takes you through all of the nitty gritty of how we got to be where we are today. At reinventingthetattoo.com, you can also find a full event schedule with full weekly and special event live stream details. For example, if you wanted to jump into today's session, you could easily go to reinventingthetattoo.com, click on the events area, and you'll see a whole calendar pop up that's populated with different live stream events going on. It's real easy to get to, and it makes joining these shows really, really easy. At reinventingthetattoo.com, you can also find a full event schedule with full weekly and special event live stream details. Oh, I just said that. Way to go off script, Jason. Thanks. You can also find access to the Reinventing 24/7 channel. It's a live stream channel. It's got about 13 different episodes going at any given time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and is available on all web enabled devices. You can also find access to a whole host of professional development workshops and on demand seminars from over 20 world class tattooers. For example, if you wanted to learn how to draw letters like BJ Betts or tattoo a skull like Bob Tyrell, maybe you've got a little bit of a different style and you want to learn how to tattoo a little bit more like Andre Malcolm, well, guess what? We've got seminars on all of that and a whole lot more, all available at reinventingthetattoo.com. You can find us on both of the app stores, the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. You can also find us on YouTube at our Reinventing the Tattoo YouTube channel. We also have a Reinventing the Tattoo Roku channel, which has 12 to 15 different episodes going at any given time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and is available on all Roku enabled devices. So you can always find us on Roku, stream it in the studio. Maybe you're at home on a day off like Labor Day. Go through, take a look, stream it. You never know what you can learn. You can also find us in all of the major podcast directories such as Apple and Spotify. Or you can do what most people do and just open your web browser and do it for reading too. Find it all except for the book, which is still currently out of print. I'm still trying to save a little bit of money so that I can find a copy, which are really expensive. They are out of print. Um, I will get my hands on another copy, so it will happen eventually. Once again, if this is working for you, please let us know in the comments and in the chat. And please tag a friend who loves tattoos. Um, we have a number of weekly shows, these staples that we always encourage people to tune into. Starting off on Mondays at 9 a.m., we have Drawing for Tattooers with James Wisdom, where we get to go through and discuss basic drawing techniques and strategies. Helps us get back to our roots of being a fine artist. We discuss all manner of different things such as light source and color theory, some warm ups, some drawing techniques, figure drawing strategies, and a whole lot more. Once again, 9 a.m. Drawing for Tattooers with James Wisdom. That's on Mondays at 9. Following that, you have this show, which is the Skill Building Monday Drawing Group, hosted every Monday at noon, come rain or shine. Uh, haha, it's online, so that doesn't matter. Unless there's like a zombie apocalypse that breaks out, then I might not stream on Mondays. But otherwise, you can usually find me on here Mondays at noon for the Skill Building Monday Drawing Group. And capping off Mondays at 9 p.m., we have a subscribers exclusive drawing group with Sandy McAndrew. Now, you will need a subscription to join these Monday evening group. I can attest firsthand that the Monday evening drawing groups alone worth the price. In fact, we even have a subscription bundle right now where you can sign up for just the Monday evening drawing groups. If you're looking for a way to push yourself, to really get off of that plateau that you've been on for so long, if you know your work could be better, but you're not quite sure the best way to go about, getting out of that stage that you're in, trust me when I say subscribing to Monday evening drawing group alone will absolutely 100% be beneficial. I did it for the better part of 2 years, and you can notice a marked improvement from where I was when I first started doing it to where I am now. It's absolutely, mind blowing just how much getting onto a live stream with a whole bunch of other artists that have the same goals that you have and pushing yourself to do better than you've done before. It's absolutely impressive to see what kind of progress can be made when you take on that kind of responsibility. Following all of that on Mondays, on Tuesdays at 11 a.m., we have the Tattoo Weekly Show with Gabe Ripley, Fawn Baker, and Jake Meeks from the Fireside Network, where we get to go through and discuss new upcoming events and current changes in the tattoo industry. It's very much an industry related show. So, any new legislation being passed, any new protocols, practices, procedures, things like that that are being put into place for whatever reasons. All of that and a whole lot more will be discussed. That's Tuesdays at 11, the Tattoo Weekly Show. Following that, on Wednesdays at noon, we have the Tattoo Now Show with Gabe Ripley, where we get to go through and do a deeper dive into the business aspect behind tattooing. It helps us discuss things like marketing strategies, advertising, travel visas, all different types of business related stuff that's absolutely fundamental to being a successful tattoo artist. And that is at noon on Wednesdays. It's called the Tattoo Now Show, and it's hosted by Gabe Ripley. And capping off our week on Thursdays at 6 p.m., we have the Tattoo Collecting 101 podcast with Fawn Baker. It's absolutely awesome to go through, hear stories from different people about what they've been doing, their adventures along the way, and stuff that they've learned while they've been doing it. It's a great time to go through and share a whole bunch of different stories and, some lessons that you've learned. We do have a live upcoming special event, and that is coming up October 24th through 27th in Hancock, Massachusetts. And that will be the Paradise Tattoo Gathering. You can find that at tattoogathering.com. And this is definitely going to be the tattoo event for the year. In personal opinion here. We have got an all-star lineup of artists that will be presenting. We have an all-star lineup of artists that will be tattooing there. Just to give you a peek into some of the names of some of the people that will be in attendance. Jake Meeks from the Fireside Tattoo Network will be there. Kyle Olson, Andre Malcolm will be there tattooing all weekend, and presenting a bodysuit seminar, which is going to be fantastic. Andy Chambers will be there. I don't know if you're familiar with his work, but he absolutely rocks. He's going to be there, and he will be presenting an advanced sleeve design seminar. Chris Mack will be there tattooing all weekend. Jade Napier, Frank DeMeo, Haley Adams, Amy Nichols from the Apprenticeship Diaries, Damon Conklin, John Mesa, Renee Little, Mickey Schlick, Sandy McAndrew, Thea Dustin, Corey Ferguson, Steve Butcher will be doing a full process seminar. So if you want to know everything about what Steve Butcher does to make his tattoos awesome, he's going to be hosting a live in-person seminar at Paradise Gathering. You got to tune in for that. Marcus Lenhard will be there. Marcus has been a huge inspiration to me, along with his wife, Kaya Heitland. They will both be presenting this year at Paradise Gathering, as well as doing a whole bunch of other really cool activities that I'm not really going to be discussing. We're still working out some of the specifics, but yeah, we've got some other really exciting stuff with them coming up. So stay tuned. Gunnar will be there teaching a seminar, which is going to be absolutely incredible. Gunnar's been a huge influence on me in my own personal career. Can't wait to take that seminar. Anthony Tex will be there. He will be teaching a seminar. Russ Abbott will be there. He will be teaching a seminar. I will be there. I will be teaching a seminar. We have seminars on anything you can imagine going on, as well as some absolutely incredible tattooers that will be busting out all types of really awesome tattoos all weekend. The seminars include advanced sleeve design, 3D modeling in Procreate, how to utilize that in everyday studio use, uh, an advanced workshop in Procreate, how to create your own brushes, how to go through use some of the basics and some of the more advanced features of Procreate. We've got a bodysuit design seminar. We've got a sleeve design seminar. We've got a tax and accounting seminar for people that need to get their finances back in order. We've got realism tattooing seminars, black and gray and color realism. We've got all kinds of seminars for anything you could ever possibly want to know, all coming up at Paradise Gathering this year. And once again, that is going to be October 24th through 27th in Hancock, Massachusetts. Would like to go through and take a second to thank some of our sponsors and some of the people that make these shows happen. Starting off with, let's do that. And then over here, and then boom. Starting off with worldtattooevents.com, the largest, most comprehensive resource for tattoo events worldwide. They're constantly keeping everything updated. As we know, living in a post pandemic era, there are still tattoo events and conventions that are getting rescheduled. So if you want to stay up to date with the latest and greatest, most up to date tattoo event or convention information coming to a city or town near you, or maybe it's one you plan on visiting. Lord knows that's usually how I try to schedule all my vacations. Take a look at worldtattooevents.com. Would also like to thank tattoonow.com, technology for tattoo, leading edge in professional development, management, and digital tools for tattooers of all levels. They're 100% competitive with any type of CRM, mailing list, or scheduling software out there. So if you're really looking for the digital tools to really help you streamline your work, your workflow, your booking process, the whole nine, that will really help you capitalize on your time, because as we all know, time is money. Take a look at tattoonow.com. They've been in business for over 20 years and they know exactly what they are doing. Would also like to say a very special thank you to Guy Aitchison over at guyaitchison.com. He is the founder and inspiration behind Reinventing the Tattoo. Go to guyaitchison.com where you can pick up a copy of his Biomech Encyclopedia, some of his tutorial DVDs. I believe he still has a few custom coil machines for sale, as well as countless fine art prints and the occasional oil painting, all for sale at guyaitchison.com. Would also like to say a very quick and special thank you and shout out to Amy Nichols at the Apprenticeship Diaries, my preferred place to send people that are looking to become a tattoo apprentice. Take a look at it. It's filled with absolute gold information. You cannot go wrong by just checking it out. Highly recommend it. As always, we ask that if you like today's show, go ahead and post a positive review on the channel. Help us get the word out. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down at the bottom of the page. That way, you always stay up to date with any new shows coming out and all of the new episodes coming out on all of the podcasts that we do. If you would like to host a Reinventing the Tattoo event, become a sponsor of our community, or if you are looking for a fine art or a tattoo critique, you can always email management at reinventingthetattoo.com. We will get back to you as soon as we can. That kind of wraps up the intro for us. Bum 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 bum. And I'm actually just going to leave this in the corner for today. This is a little QR code. You might see it up there in the upper left corner. Um, if you scan that QR code with your phone, it will take you straight to the Paradise Tattoo Gathering website. You can take a look at the whole schedule that we have going on. It's very easy to find. If you click on the events, you can see all the seminars going on. If you click on the artist page, you'll see all the artists attending and tattooing there. It's really pretty awesome. Um, it's going to be an absolutely unbelievable group of artists all together in one place. I can't really stress enough. This is going to be like the tattoo event of the year. Personal opinion, of course, but uh, having played tattoo events in my lifetime, having been to seminars, educationals, and all types of stuff. I'm telling you right now, I've never seen a lineup of artists like this before in my life at any show except for one, which is actually in a different country. So this is going to be like your best bet in the US to go through, or anywhere in the Americas, really, to go through and see a lineup like this that you can freely go and attend and take whatever seminars you want. This is going to be your chance and your opportunity to do that. So I highly recommend you capitalize on that. I'm going to be going through and working on a collaborative back piece that I'll be starting in about a week or two with a friend of mine at the studio I work at. I'm actually going to be going through, kind of running a little behind on that. I haven't really had too much time to work on it lately, so let me cue that up. Let's see, where is... Cool. So we've been tossing this back and forth for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. Oh, wrong one. There we go. And then we'll do that. So we've been tossing this back and forth for about 2 weeks. They were very specific about a doll that they wanted. It's a doll that they own. So we took some reference photos of it, had them bring their doll in so that we can maintain accuracy on that. But they wanted it to be like super kind of creepy and dark and scary. So we were like, all right, let's do a Reaper. Who doesn't love Reapers, right? They're kind of a pain sometimes, but they're they can be really fun to tattoo. And this is going to be a whole back design, so we kind of have that mapped out. We'll hide that layer. So I've got this like dotted or dashed line going around the perimeter of the back. We measured everything out so we know exactly how big it needs to be. But I am going to be going through and working on this a little bit today. So I did the first draft. They sent that back to me with some cleaned up lines and ways that they saw some things going and sent it back to me. Now I'm going back through and adjusting a few things, giving it more of like a torn, tattered kind of look for the robe. Um, that'll help add to some of the flow to it. We're still trying to figure out what we're going to be doing in the background up here because it is a little open and blank. So we are still trying to figure that part out. But as far as right now is concerned, just trying to work on refining the robe a little bit more, getting maybe the scythe, figured out a little bit better. That's one of the challenges of doing collaborative design with another artist, is that especially if you go with an artist that has a very different skill set or style, or maybe it's an artist that's at a different stage, um, it can pose a bit of a challenge sometimes because, if especially if you have artists that are working with two different styles, or if you have people that are at two different mindsets on how they want it to look, it can make it really challenging trying to come up with something that is agreeable for both people, right? That both people will enjoy tattooing, that, is going to work well to um, kind of translate the topic of the tattoo. It's going to make it a little bit more challenging than a lot of people realize. Collaborative tattooing in general poses a lot of challenges, just with communication, understanding, understanding different stylistic tendencies, understanding different ways that people like things, and then coming to an agreed upon consensus. It's not very easy. Like I said, once again, especially if you're dealing with people that have a different style or different take on things or different mindset, different things that they like, or different ways that they like to see things done that are more visually appealing to them. Because as we know, art in and of itself is a very personal thing, right? It's very subjective. Everyone's got their own perspective and their own interpretation of what they like and how they like it. Hopefully, you guys are still with me. Does okay? Yeah, I think we're good again. And because it is very subjective, you never really quite know what someone's going to like, unless, of course, you clone yourself. But if anyone out there knows how to create clones, by all means, let me know. I could use one. Probably make my life a lot easier in certain regards, um, but yeah. So right now, I'm just trying to go through and tweak this out a little bit, give it some more jagged edges. Just give it more of like that torn and tattered kind of look. That's very easy. You just go through and draw some squiggly lines. Maybe leave a chunk out or something and then bring a tear back. A couple of little tear holes. I'm sketching all this out now, but I'll be going back through as another layer on top of this and refining the outline. So this is just kind of getting me the concept for the amount and type of detail that I would like to see in it. And then I will pass this back to my coworker, who will then take another look at it and pass it back to me again for, I guess, like a final revision. And then from there, we'll be set and ready to go and stencil it. We'll probably do a value study first. I'm big on that because if you don't do a value study first, then everyone gets kind of lost and they're like, wait a second, in which direction are we putting the light source? Yes, Creature's Cave. Yes, clone humor. Like the movie Multiplicity, I know I would end up in that kind of a predicament somehow. By the way, great movie out there. It's an older movie with Michael Keaton. Anyone out there that has not seen Multiplicity, you need to go out and watch it. It's awesome. Um, but if I find that if you don't do a value study before you get started on a collaborative tattoo, everyone ends up lost. And you'll have conflicting light sources that, you know, some people might turn around and say, oh, well, I thought we were going to do this light coming from here because this makes sense. And then, you know, you might turn around and be like, well, the last thing I remember was doing it like this, or, this is the way I think it would look best. So it kind of goes through and helps everyone get on the same page. Um, all in all, we're going through, our aim is to knock out all of the outlines and kind of map out some of our harder and softer edges during the first session. So a lot of this background robe stuff is going to be very, very soft in the background, right? Same thing down here. A lot of this stuff I'm not even going to bother like tweaking at all, because none of this is really going to matter. It's going to be so soft and vague. Um, but there are certain things that we will probably go through and do a bit of a harder line on, and that's areas like this. What we'll probably end up doing, and what we've discussed doing before, was actually getting some kind of like counterflow going on, because right now, if we take a look at the way that all of this is formatted, we have a lot of motion in this direction, right? So we have a lot of motion drawing your eye down. We've got the scythe, which is drawing your eye back up, but once again, that's following in that same kind of linear pattern. We have a little bit of the doll that's kind of crossing things. That's helpful. We've got the top of the scythe coming back around. Um, so that's nice. But there still feels like there needs to be something like here or maybe here, even though we're trying to really leave the opening where the sternum bone and the rib cage are. We're trying to leave that really, really open. Um, and that's because we really want to have like an interior glow going on there. So we're trying to figure out something else to really move your eye back down in this way to create some counterflow without going through and doing like the standard like negative space wind sweeps or anything like that. Um, so we're open to ideas. Both of us are going through and doing some homework and trying to figure out what might look cool to be coming up in that direction. Um, but it is what it is. Uh, so we're just kind of playing around with this and messing with it a little bit. Today is going to be a shorter episode. I'm not trying to take everyone's day up. It is Labor Day. Go do things that are not labor. Enjoy your day off, because today is a day off, a day of rest. Um, Mondays for me are almost always days of rest, but that's just because I don't have to go to the studio on Mondays. Um, Other people do. That's fine for you, but I don't like Mondays. Mondays are not my favorite. Um, well, back when I used to work a 9 to 5, they weren't my favorite. Now they are, because I don't have to go to work. Yay! So I already kind of figured out how I want the scythe to be. Right, giving it a few knots here and there in the wood, maybe a bigger knot here, just kind of show like maybe where a branch had been hacked off or something. Um, bringing this down a little bit more. We'll probably have this go all the way off the canvas, like all the way to the edge and over. And this I'm just going to refine a little bit, because I really want this to kind of traverse everything and like cross that boundary. Um, we'll probably have to draw a little bit of this in, because this is kind of where the butt cheek separates, right? And in order for it to look like a solid, cohesive design, um, we kind of have to get into that crack a little bit to make sure everything's like seamless. So it's not going to be super fun, but it kind of is what it is. Sometimes you just got to get in there and do that if you want to make sure it's nice and cohesive. Um, I have a feeling I'm not going to be this client's best friend after this tattoo, but they already kind of knew what they signed up for, so I can't really say too much. I already tattooed their entire front panel, so this should be a walk in the park for them by comparison. And then we've got just a couple of little wrist bones. I really kind of like the way that I've seen drapery bunched up lately. Drapery, I know for a lot of people, can be really difficult and really tricky when it comes down to light source. And making sure that it looks like different pieces of the drapery are actually folding over, how they would be folding over, where they would be bunching up. There's a whole like trick to that. Um, and I honestly couldn't even break down the trick that it is. Um, it just kind of is something that I've practiced for a long time and seem to be all right at. So cool. Yeah, if anyone's got any questions or anything like that, feel free to hit me up. Drop a comment in the chat area. We'll probably wrap it up in about 15 minutes if no one's really got anything. But like I said, it's going to be a shorter episode anyway because it's a holiday. Go be with family and friends and go have a beer for me. Um, should be a pretty fun one though. So what I'm thinking is for the background. So if I take, mm, thought I created a brush just for. Here we go. So if we do, let's go with a different color. That way I can tell it apart. Um, so if we bring this down, we need something that cuts across, but not too sharp. You know what I mean? So I'm just kind of playing around with some stuff here. What if we did something different? Let's do like a thorny texture. I downloaded this free brush pack the other day off of the interweb, and wanted to play around with it a little bit. I might actually design a whole separate brush pack based off of this. Too big. Make that a little smaller. I don't really know if I like the way that thorns would look. Especially if it cuts all the way across. Maybe we could technically bring one down this way, the other one down this way. Maybe maybe even just in the background here. That could be pretty cool. Almost as like a little, I don't even know what you would call it, but it's like the solar discs that are behind religious figures and Renaissance artwork. I mean, that seems a little busy, but I mean, I could always like simplify it, I guess. I don't know if this is going to be any less busy, but we'll find out. I don't know if I like that. So maybe I'll just sketch some in. Bring this down. Circle. Good. Make sure this is nice and centered. Maybe make it a bit bigger. Uniform. There we go. Offset it because we want to play around with the golden spiral. Maybe just something light in the background. Maybe I want to stay away from like a moon. So if anyone's got any ideas and down, let me know. Maybe some negatives. Maybe we can do some thorns in the background and then thorns in the foreground. That could be cool. Especially if we keep the background kind of light. That could work well, right? Let's see what we can do. So if we do that there, we could do something like an S curve down at the bottom. Although if that's curving this way, maybe we would just do something to like balance. So we'd throw something like this down here. Just kind of bring your eye back over. See, but then we would have nowhere to end it up there because this is going to be radiating light. So we would have to kind of come across here. Although that should be broken up enough. Maybe do like a second set as well. And then that would be leading up. That's going to be broken up by a whole bunch of different stuff. So I don't think that's really going to pose too much of an issue. Whenever I'm just kind of mapping out ideas or sketching or anything like that, I always like to start off with a much larger brush. It's very, very light, very not opaque, just so that I can build on top of it on the same layer until I get to the point where I feel like it needs to be refined, in which case I'll create another layer over top that will be opaque. That might, don't know if I like that. Not over far enough. That part's going to be behind. This part will be intertwining. Almost like it's kind of like twisted together like it's barbed wire. Yay, 1990s. Gotta love the barbed wire tat. Means you're bad. Means you're badass. Yeah. Only bikers and Pamela Lee get barbed wire tattoos. Some trees. We don't really have enough room for trees. I was thinking about that. We would have to like literally shrink the whole thing down in order to do some trees back here, so it'd be kind of tricky. Um, Besides, they'd be so far in the background that you wouldn't even really see it. Thinking like big, vague shapes. I mean, I was even tossing around the idea of just leaving it open, just doing like some light gray shading in the background. But if you go based off of the rule of thirds, right? The way I was explaining it to my coworker the other day, if you go with the rule of thirds, which basically states that you've got basically everything you do works within a 9-cell grid, right? So you've got top third, right, middle third, and then bottom third, and then you've got left third, middle third, right third. And the strategy is to have something interesting, visually interesting in every single square, right? And then it's kind of like bingo, tattoo design bingo. Um, you want to make sure that you've got something visually interesting, in the middle, and then visually interesting over here, visually interesting here, 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 and here. Well, there's only really one square that really kind of seems like it's lacking the same amount of visual information, and that's up here in the upper right. So the only real way to go through and counter that would be either to A, raise the doll higher and have that on the same visual plane as the head, or B, throw something in the background. And I mean, ideally, we could very easily raise the doll up. But the problem if we do that is then that puts the doll and the head on the same visual plane, and now it's going to be too linear, right? So it's going to be too much going straight across that you want your eye to focus on. Right now, we've kind of got a really nice triangle going between this hand, this doll in hand, and then the head, right? So we've got a really nice visual triangle right here in the middle of the back. So that's going to be 3 primary elements, really moving around, really drawing our eye up and over so that our eye is constantly moving. We can even connect that down here to the bottom of the scythe if we really wanted to. Probably put like a little knobby guy down here too, like another little like sawn off branch or something. And then we could always continue this top part up as well. So now we've got a really nice Z kind of formation, like bouncing our eye all over the place, and then the scythe would bring our eye back down. As well, the scythe would also bring our eye back up and over. So it's really kind of visually moving our eye around the whole piece. But if we moved the doll up higher, right, that would kind of eliminate that. That would break that up to the point that we are no longer looking at, this nice. So imagine the doll's up here, right? So now we would be coming up and over and down, and we lose that momentum because we're losing that visual. How can I say this? Like that diagonal line that creates visual movement. You know, so you always want to have a diagonal motion in order to create said movement. But if we, once again, if we brought this up, it would be too straight across, it would be too level, right? And now it's not going to be quite as visually interesting. It's not going to lead our eye around quite as much. So I'm constantly always trying to create visual movement. And because we've got very, very linear things here, right? This is linear creating movement. This is linear creating movement. People's eyes are naturally drawn to faces, heads, hands, so we really want to make sure that all of that is in some way, shape, or form moving our eye around. Drapery is kind of drapery. This stuff's going to be kind of vague in the background. But as long as we've got a pretty decent, way to move our eye around almost in a figure eight pattern, then it's going to create visual movement. And that's ideally what I try to go for, especially with large scale pieces. You have to create that visual sense of motion. Otherwise, it's going to be super static and nothing is going to look right. It's the exact same reason why we didn't have the doll being held on this side of the body, right? Then we would get what's called totem poling, right? Because we would have primary subject, and it would be linear, straight up and down. You do not want to totem pole anything because that's visually very uninteresting. It doesn't matter what you have going on back over here. If you have too many focal points directly in a line, not going to look right. So that's kind of why we had to put the doll in this hand over here, why we had to bring this hand lower so that way everything offset each other. Yeah, I'm thinking some negative smoke. I was thinking about doing some negative space, like thorns, or like a chain or something like that could work, as long as it's done in the negative. And then that could be a continuous kind of um, theme going all the way across it, right? Let's take a look at. We'll play around. Yeah, just for grins. I just want to see how this looks. Maybe we will go with some barbed wire. And then we could balance that out by doing this. That way we would have some in the foreground down here. And then this guy up at the top would be more in the background. But since it would all be... That could visually balance well. Might want to bring this down this way, though. A little bit better. And then here. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Might turn that into thorns or something, but I mean, by having this, where is my sketching brush? There we go. So by having this here balanced out with this, I think that'll really help. I think that'll give me the visual balance I was looking for. Cool. I just figured that out. Now it's time to go and draw it. Yay. That's going to kind of wrap up today's show. It is Labor Day, as I mentioned before. Go spend time with family and friends. Go do some fun stuff. Have a beer. Cook out on the grill. Who knows? Do something fun. For everyone that is interested, that QR code is still up in the corner. It's Tattoo Gathering. Should take you directly to the website. Hope I get to see everyone there. It's going to be an absolutely awesome time. We may also end up doing another drunk critique while we're at Paradise Gathering, so that should be a very hysterical time. Hopefully I don't make an ass out of myself. But until then, thank you everyone for tuning in. It's been a pleasure and an honor as always. And I will see everyone again next Monday at noon here live on the Reinventing the Tattoo channel for Skill Building Monday, episode 166. Thank you guys very much. Hope you have a great day. Take care, and I'll catch you next week.